What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome back to Just Podding Around. Today, we're diving into one of the wildest, bloodiest, and most influential promotions in wrestling history. Extreme Championship Wrestling, better known as ECW. If you think you've seen hardcore, buckle up because these guys invented it. It all started in February 1992 in Philadelphia. And I'm not talking about sold-out arenas or massive TV deals. Nah, this was about 80 people packed into a smoky bar watching what was then called Eastern Championship Wrestling. The founder, Todd Gordon, had no idea his little NWA affiliate would become a full-blown cultural movement. By 93, a fast-talking genius named Paul Heyman, or as fans knew him then, Paul Lee Dangerously, took creative control. And in 1994, ECW officially broke away from the NWA in legendary fashion. Shane Douglas wins the NWA World Title Tournament, then throws the title down, spits on tradition, and declares himself the ECW World Champion. That single act flipped the wrestling world on its head. And from that moment, Eastern Championship Wrestling became Extreme Championship Wrestling. From that point on, ECW was the place for chaos, creativity, and carnage. The roster was this insane mix of veterans and rising stars. Terry Funk, Sabu, the Sandman, Cactus Jack, Tommy Dreamer, Raven, Taz, Too Cold Scorpio, Mikey Whipwreck, Rob Van Dam, all legends in their own right. By the mid to late 90s, ECW's reputation exploded. They gave fans heart, humour, hard landings and bloody faces. Their first pay-per-view, Barely Legal 1997, proved they could hang with the big dogs. Then, in 1999, they landed national TV with ECW on TNN. For a minute, they were America's third biggest wrestling promotion, right behind WWF and WCW. But, as Paul Heyman later admitted, the promotion growth came too fast. Money problems piled up, and by 2001, ECW went under. It was a brutal ending for the most rebellious promotion wrestling had ever seen. Now, ECW wasn't just different. It was anti-corporate wrestling. WWF was flashy, WCW was polished, and ECW was gritty, underground, and raw. Weapons weren't props, they were encouraged. Chairs, tables, barbed wire, Singapore canes, hell, sometimes fans brought their own weapons. And the wrestlers didn't just wrestle, they broke themselves for the audience. Sabu crashing through tables mid-match, RVD flying across the ring like he had wings, Taz suplexing guys through anything in his path. It was beautiful chaos. But ECW was blended international styles. Japanese strong style, Mexican lucha libre, and American brawling. That mix of athleticism, brutality, made every show unpredictable. Now, let's talk about the fans, because they were half the show. The ECW arena in Philly only had held around 500 people, but somehow 1,500 would cram in. The chants of ECW, ECW shook the walls. Fans weren't just watching, they were living it. Paul Heyman once said his goal was to make as much noise that fans of WWF and WCW would start craving ECW's energy. Mission accomplished. These weren't passive crowds. They brought the heat, the beer, and the passion. To this day, you'll still hear ECW chants whenever something extreme happens in a WWE or AEW ring. That's legacy right there. ECW gave us some of wrestling's most insane storylines and unforgettable feuds. You had Raven versus the Sandman, pure chaos mixed with emotional storytelling. You had Tommy Dreamer, the beating heart of ECW, fighting everyone from Raven to Sandman in wars that felt personal. Then there was Mikey Whipwreck, a kid who went from being a jobber to the world champion at just 22, beating the Sandman in the ladder match. Unreal underdog story. Let's not forget Sabu and RVD. Those two turned tables, ladders and chairs into weapons of art. And of course, Taz, the human suplex machine, choking out anyone in his path with that signature FTW belt that screamed, "I don't need your approval." But with all that intensity came controversy, like the infamous mass transit incident in 1996, where a rookie got badly cut open during a match. That moment almost killed ECW's first pay-per-view deal. Still, fans stuck around, because no matter how wild things got, ECW delivered raw emotion every single night. Now here's a quick rundown of the legends that carried their company on their shoulders. You had Shane Douglas, the franchise, the man who started the rebellion. The Sandman, beer, cigarette, and Singapore can in hand, pure chaos personified. Sabu, a human crash test dummy with no fear and all heart. Tommy Dreamer, the soul of ECW, loyal to the bitter end. Raven, dark, brooding, and psychologically brilliant. Taz, built like a tank, fought like a killer. Rob Van Dam, high-flying perfection, Mr. Monday Night, before WWE even knew what to do with him. Marky Whipwreck, the unlikely champ. The Dudley Boys, chaos in tag team form, tables everywhere. These guys didn't just wrestle, they defined what extreme meant. By 2000, the walls were closing in. TNN dropped ECW, wrestlers weren't getting paid, and stars started leaving for WCW or WWF. In early 2001, ECW folded. Broke, battered, but unforgettable. 2 years later, WWE bought ECW's assets out of bankruptcy. In 2005, they paid tribute with One Night Stand, one of the best reunion shows ever. Then from 2006 to 2010, ECW came back as a WWE brand. Different, cleaner, and tamer, but at least a nod to the legacy. Paul Heyman, of course, eventually got his flowers, inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame right where he belongs. Now here's the thing though, ECW's gone, but it never really died. Its fingerprints are all over modern wrestling. WWE's Attitude Era, straight out of ECW's playbook. Hardcore matches, adult themes, edgy promos, that all came from Philly. The 2001 Invasion storyline, full of ECW alumni. And promotions like TNA, Ring of Honor, CZW, and XPW all carried the torch in their own twisted ways. Even today, when crowds chant ECW during a brutal spot, it's a salute, a war cry, a reminder that wrestling isn't just entertainment, it's passion, pain, and rebellion. So yeah, ECW may not have had the money or the TV glitz, but it had the heart. And that's why we're still talking about it decades later. I'm Reese Williams, and this has been Just Putting Around. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to follow, drop a rating, and share it with someone who still bleeds ECW red. Till next time, stay extreme.